You're watching the SEGADriven YouTube channel, and this is our Sonic Amateur Games Expo 2023 coverage. In this video, we'll be taking a look at Project 32X, developed by RetroDeveloper. So I instantly gravitated towards this because, as you know, I am a massive Sonic Extreme fanboy. And if you know anything about the development of Sonic Extreme, is that it did start on the 32X and was codenamed Sonic Mars, if I remember correctly. And Project 32X is basically trying to riff on that. So we've got a very sort of low poly looking Sonic game with a sort of fixed angle but true 3D graphics. So that, yeah, you can explore in a three-dimensional space. And, yeah, everything's very sort of low poly and flat shaded, very much aping the style of those Sonic Mars sort of animated GIFs that you may have seen kicking around. They came from Chris Sen's old website, if I remember correctly, who was one of the developers on Sonic Extreme. So yeah, so this is very much going for that look. It's even got the same looking HUD and everything like that. They've done a great job of absolutely aping the look of Sonic Mars, and yeah, I think that's the real selling point in this demo, is that it absolutely looks the part, and they've done a great job of recreating that in a working 3D environment that you can actually control Sonic in. So that's really fun. What isn't so fun is the stage design. Everything feels very flat, unfortunately. There's not a lot of dynamism to the actual stage design themselves. They feel, yeah, just very uninteresting and not fun to explore. There's not an awful lot to find, or any sort of like landmarks and things that really sort of like set the stages out. And the big problem I had with this is that there is no way to move the camera around. So an awful lot of the time you find yourself running towards the camera where you can't actually see what's coming up. In the first stage they try and mitigate this by putting big arrows next to everything so you know where you're supposed to be going. But yeah, it's not great, I've got to say. They've tried to mitigate the fact that you often find yourself jumping into pits by giving Sonic like an infinite jump, meaning that you can't just double jump, you can continuously jump in the air as much as you want. So there's that, I suppose, which certainly helps with the exploration a little bit, and it helped me from falling down a pit on a few occasions. But it's not great. It's just it feels a bit slapdash. They haven't really set on a preferred stage design yet. They haven't really sort of like nailed down what they really want this to play like at the moment. It's a little bit too simplistic. All you can do is move around, jump, and you can use a spin dash as well. Sonic's movement speed is fine, I guess. It's not particularly fast. You do pick up a little bit of pace as you hold the directions for a long amount of time. You do start to pick up a little bit of speed, but not too much. It's never unmanageable because obviously you do have to move around in a 3D space and on very small platforms over massive pitfalls. So yeah, it helps that you have, you know, slower speeds to be able to control in these sort of environments. But yeah, I don't know if I'm very impressed with this at the moment, unfortunately. It looks the part. It looks absolutely fantastic, and there's definitely something interesting here that can be built on for a future release. But at the moment, it's just a little bit uninteresting to explore. The stages are just so flat and uninteresting. There's not really an awful lot going on. There's not any really interesting landmarks to look at. You don't really interact with the environment in any particularly interesting way. Yeah, it's just a bit dull, unfortunately. Yeah, not a great first showing, unfortunately. I think, like I say, visually, absolutely looking fantastic, and I really want to see where this goes from here. But they really need to work on the stage design for the next release, just to make things a little bit more interesting to explore. So it's a more engaging product overall. But yeah, at the moment, Project 32X, not quite doing it for me. Absolutely love the way it looks, but yeah, it needs a little bit more interesting stage design to explore going forward.